Welcome to another episode of the Brandon Janeau Show. As you know, I am Brandon Janeau, and like always on all podcast platforms everywhere. Brandon Janeau Show, man. Social media has changed a little bit. Instagram and Threads is Brandon Janeau. You can just keep it just together, Brandon Janeau on Instagram and Threads. I really gotta start getting a goddamn clicker when I do this shit because this is getting ridiculous. Um, Facebook is the Brandon Janeau Show on Facebook. And of course, YouTube channel, Brand New Show. Uh, and that's also my TikTok, Brand New Show. YouTube channel and TikTok is Brand New Show. Um, so, yes, YouTube channel, Brand New Show. You go there, you subscribe. You can subscribe. You can also comment. I do comment back, like the videos, man. Um, and on social media, you go there, Brand New Instagram, Threads, follow both of those pages. Facebook, you can also follow me on Facebook and TikTok. Follow me on TikTok as well. Brand New Show on TikTok, Brand New on Instagram and Threads. Facebook is the Brand New Show. Yeah, and YouTube because Brand New Show. All right, I gotta get better at those because I gotta remember these things now. Lord Jesus, it used to be just so goddamn easy. Boom, 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 boom. You can just it was so easy. Everything would just be Brand New Show. Now I just yeah. Anyway, today you already know it's Tuesday, which means it's I bleed sports. Yeah, we back today. Back. This week is crazy on I bleed sports. We got a lot of things going down, a lot of topics. Of course, college football. Excuse excuse me. It's not on the swing. I have told y'all I was bringing back my crazy six. I know it's early, but I got my crazy six down. Eyes on college football. My players and teams going up, and my players and teams going down. Um, so yes, that is so a part of this week. I gotta clip those moments so I could post them and see how if y'all like that segment or not. So I gotta do it. Also, of course, eyes on college football, and I will be talking about the NFL. My big four of the NFL going into week four of the NFL season, and of course, my love is a warning. Love is a warning. My three teams for this upcoming NFL week that is definitely on danger on shiggy ground. But before I get into the football, let's start off like this. So, this is officially the last week that a major sport will be played in Oakland, California. The Oakland A's are officially leaving Oakland. Um, the Oakland Athletics, if you don't know, they are officially leaving Oakland, and they will be going to next year. They'll be in Sacramento, California. The following year after that, they'll be in Las Vegas. Um, and the owner of the Oakland Athletics put out a press release today. Said it was bitter. It was felt bad because the team had to leave and relocate. Um, and me and my brother Juan talked about this today on our show, Jack's Wild Sports Show. Um, Go follow him on Instagram, All Sports Talk on Instagram. You can find the whole episode. We talked about this. Um, I saw also, uh, uh, PTI today. Tony Kornheiser was on there. I was like, oh man, the owner really felt so bad he could keep the team in Oakland. Here's the thing with that, and this is something that if you're a fan, as a fan, some people have become so detached from being an actual fan. I'm not saying Tony Kornheiser has. Tony Kornheiser is a legend. I've watched this man since I was a kid. Tony Kornheiser is a legend. But I do believe he kind of leans on the side of a owner in the his fandom is kind of city based. You know what I'm saying? As a fan of the sport of baseball, this is the third team. You got to realize Oakland has had multiple teams, Golden State, the Raiders, and now the A's, now the Athletics, leaving the fucking team. Oakland, California is crazy. And that's on the city, man. I cannot blame these owners when you didn't want to build a stadium in Oakland for the Raiders. Mark Davis said, fuck y'all. And he went to Vegas and he built the fucking stadium when you literally had a chance to keep Golden State, which was the most profitable team, even in that state, the most profitable team at that time in fucking Oakland. Literally, the Arco Arena was making fucking money. The Golden State Warriors were a dynasty, and you literally let them walk across the bridge to San Francisco because you didn't want to build a stadium and give them a new stadium and make renovations. It's just like, what are you doing? And then on top of that, now the last team you had, the team you pretty much opted to have because you said they had more home games than the Golden State Warriors and then the Raiders. You opted for them, and now you don't give them a stadium, and you let them just walk. It is my problem with people that get mad at the owners. You can't get mad at the owner when the fucking state, the city is literally telling the owners, yes, all the owners billionaires, yes. Can they build a stadium? Yes. Do you want to spend your own fucking money for a stadium though? When you know the state needs this too, we're helping each other. And at the end of the day, Oakland mayor should have helped keep those teams, and they didn't. I would have left too. I would have got the fuck too. If you want to see the Warriors, they're literally across the bridge. Go to San Francisco. It's crazy. In 5 years, 5 fucking years. Think about this shit for a second. 5 years. The Raiders, the Warriors, and the Oakland Athletics have all left Oakland. In 5 years, they all left Oakland. The Raiders were the first one, Warriors right after them, and then now the Oakland Athletics. Three owners can't be wrong. Three owners cannot be wrong. Come on now. Anyway, so this past Saturday, there was a massive fight. Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois um, for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, on paper, if they told you about this fight and you knew who it were, you would clearly say Anthony Joshua would just win this shit easily, which a lot of people did. But watching this fight, and by the way, it's on YouTube right now. I was just watching it on YouTube. Turkey Al Sheik, excuse me, Turkey Al Sheik, just posted this on his YouTube channel, and I was just watching the fight in its totality. But watching that fight, it, it's funny how you look now at that fight and be like, because in the moment you're watching the match, and you're like, okay, it's straight. But watching this fight Saturday and then watching it just literally before I started this podcast, I just started laughing because again, people that don't know how that Daniel Dubois, boxes, you fall into this situation. Daniel Dubois Should have been Usyk. He knocked down Usyk in that fucking fight. It was a year ago when they fought in the Ukraine. He knocked down Usyk. That was a knockdown. They tried to bullshit him, talk about something he hit below the belt. No, the fuck he didn't. He hit him right on the belt line, and Usyk went the fuck down. And they tried to pretty much say he didn't knock him. Like, that was bullshit. Like, get the fuck out of here. You watch that fight, you're like, man, get the fuck out of here. That was a fucking knockdown. Um, but he got screwed in that fight. Straight up, he got screwed in that fight. And then the next fight, and now, you see him Saturday against Anthony Joshua, and he was just better than Anthony Joshua in that fight. I don't know what the game plan was for Anthony Joshua. I would never ask that game. It could not have been try to Anthony Joshua. It could not have been. It couldn't have been try to pretty much counter him with the right. It just couldn't have been that way. It couldn't have. Because that's exactly what it felt like that's exactly what the fuck it was. It was like they're trying to force the right. If it was just a bad fucking game plan. Anthony Joshua looked like a baby fucking deer. He still fights like that. Like, once he gets tagged, he fights like a little baby deer. Like, he fights like a deer in the head. Like, this motherfucker had Bambi legs for like half of the match. He got knocked out in the fifth round. The motherfucker had Bambi legs from the first round. He never recovered. It's funny how you try to like taunt this nigga, try to like talk shit to him. It's like all you had was your confidence, bro, and that shit was inflated. Like, it was gone after like the second time you got knocked down. This shit was bad. He got knocked down like three fucking times. He actually got knocked down four. They called it off one because they said he slipped, which was not a slip. He fucking got tagged. And watching that fight though, like, again, stop putting y'all money on people just because of the names. Stop that shit. I don't get it. The next thing people kept saying right after that fight, and by the way, Daniel Dubois was the champion. Daniel Dubois was the champion. Eddie Hearn came out literally after the fight and said, "Oh, Anthony Joshua got a rematch." How? How the fuck does Anthony Joshua have a rematch and he wasn't the fucking champion? I can understand if Anthony Joshua walked in and he was the champ, then okay, give him the rematch. But the fact that he wasn't even the fucking champion and you sitting there with a straight face say, "Oh, well, he's got a rematch." How the fuck he got a rematch? He got knocked the fuck out. How the fuck does he have a rematch? That's that bullshit. Stop doing that. Is the problem with boxing. You are trying to force people to be great. Some people just ain't that. Anthony Joshua needs to work his way back up to that situation. He should not just automatically get a rematch because he's Anthony fucking Joshua. That's bullshit. Andrew Ruiz, who's a former champion, he ain't got no fucking rematch. He didn't jump back into the ring right after he lost to Anthony Joshua. They didn't say, "Oh wow, if you lose to Anthony Joshua, the next fight you get is gonna be a rematch with Anthony Joshua." He's still getting a rematch, by the way. After Anthony Joshua got the belt back, he never got a rematch. That's the problem with boxing. It's the craziest shit. He never got a rematch. He never got an Anthony Joshua, Anthony Ruiz 3. We never got one. Anthony Joshua got the belts back, and then he moved on to Usyk. And then he got his ass whooped by Usyk for two straight fights. But that's the thing, like, how the fuck does Anthony Joshua get a rematch? He never was the champion. Nobody's ever asked that. How the fuck he get a rematch? This motherfucker he didn't even come in as champ. He should be working his way back up. Andy Ruiz, who actually has worked his ass off to get back to a competition level and has gotten better as he's been boxing, got actually in shape too. That should be a rematch. That should be an Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz 3. And the winner of that fights Usyk, Theory, Dubois for the undisputed heavyweight championships because Usyk and Fury are fighting in December for the rematch. And if Usyk, which I think Usyk might get Fury this time again, um, I think Dubois and Usyk for the second time, that'd be a great fight. I think Dubois actually gets Usyk this time because he had him the first time. He beat him the first time. That was a knockdown, bro. Also, I started seeing people say, started seeing people saying, "But now it's the perfect time to do, Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder." I'm sorry, I don't want to see that fight. Deontay Wilder needs to stay retired. I don't even know if he is retired, but he needs to stay retired. Wherever he's at, he needs to stay there. He's good. Deontay Wilder hasn't been the same since the first Tyson Fury fight. Deontay Wilder literally never worked on his footwork and just plain on his boxing skills. He was so reliant on that right hook for all of his fights that when Fury got hit by it and got up from it, he was completely different after that because that's all he had. He set people up just for that fucking punch. And to see a man get up from the dead from that one particular punch, this man's punch was so deadly, it's so powerful. It is literally ranked in boxing lore from that shit. He had a knockout percentage, what, of like 90? Dude, if he hit you with that punch. The man's knockout percentage was like 100% if he hit you with that punch. The fact that Fury got up from that punch, it fucking shook him to the core. You watch the third fight. If you watch the third fight between them, when Wilder tagged him with that punch and he got up, Wilder was done. Wilder was done. Wilder was getting his ass whooped before he hit him with that punch and he tagged him and he knocked him out. Wilder has no footwork. The last couple of fights you've seen Wilder, he has no footwork. The last couple times you've seen Wilder fight, he has no footwork. He has no jabbing ability. He has none of that shit. He is so reliant on that one punch that even when he tags people with that punch now, there's no power behind it because he can't set his feet because he has no footwork. The shit is bad. I do not need to see Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. 5 years ago, I would have loved to see that fight. Now, I want to see that shit. Why? What's the point? Anthony Joshua probably beats him. Anthony Joshua was a better boxer than Deontay Wilder. He was a better boxer 5 years ago than Deontay Wilder. We just knew he couldn't take a fucking punch. Still can't take a fucking punch. But that mother got a glass chin. That nigga, this shit is fucking glass, bro. That boy shit is fucking glass. Lord Jesus, it's bad, man. That boy chin is glass. But yeah, that fight Saturday was a perfect reminder of stop putting your money all on this person just because you think they could be. I've seen enough Anthony Joshua fights to know he can beat those that he's supposed to beat, but those that can kind of give him somewhat of a challenge. And again, it might have been a game plan. The game plan might have fucking sucked. It was terrible. He kept trying to lead him into the right, and it just was not working. And once he got hit with that overhand right hook by uh by Dubois, he was done. he, he was he was done. He was done. He hit that ground, man. It was that first round. After that, it was a done deal. He had nothing left. It was done. All right, let's get into it, man. College football. My players and teams going up, and my players and teams doing bad. let's get into it, man. A player that's going up this week is Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter of the Colorado Buffaloes. This man plays both ends, D back and wide receiver. I don't know if he can do that in the NFL. NFL is a little bit different than college. Um, Clearly it's fucking different in college. If you still sit there and say college is the same as the NFL, go watch all these fucking rookie quarterbacks who last year probably around the time would have had 700 yards passing and shit with 13 touchdowns and no interceptions. Like college is different than the NFL, man. The only person I've seen successfully do both, be a receiver and a D back, is Troy Brown from the New England Patriots back in the day. That's the only one I've actually seen successfully do that. Play offense and defense like it was nothing. Can he do it? Yeah, he probably can do it. Will he do it? I don't know. That's a lot of that. Again, you know, I think Taysom Hill could be a linebacker. I don't think his ass should be on the fucking defense. Taysom Hill, Taysom Hill's a fucking switch army knife. Motherfucker probably can't play defense. Do I want him to play defense? Fuck no. Could he help out the defense? You're fucking right, he probably can. But he's good where he's at. And I think that's the best thing I can say about that. But Travis Hunter is having a great start to the season. Should he be in the Heisman conversation? Yeah, he should. I mean, the man literally won them the game single handedly Saturday night, popping the ball out of Baylor, the running back of Baylor's hands to a touchback, um, winning Colorado the game. So the man is definitely one of the best players in college football. Colorado's an interesting team, man. The Big 12 is such an interesting conference, especially with Utah having their quarterback situation. Like I've been saying, if you have Cam Rising, not playing for Utah, that's a massive hit to Utah. They still won against Oklahoma State this past weekend, but Colorado could shock some people, man. I would not be surprised if Colorado somehow some way wins the Big 12. They have somewhat of a difference, not a lot, but somewhat of a difference this year. But we shall see. Um, my player is down bad, and it's not his fault. And that's Harold Perkins of the Harold Perkins Jr. of the LSU Tigers. He is officially out for the rest of the year. He's done. I don't know if he now will come back for I think his senior year, be a senior year this year, next year if he does decide to come back. Um, yeah, I don't know. We shall see. But for me, before he got injured, he really wasn't making that much of an impact on the defense. Like you couldn't really. Swanson was more so the guy that was making more of the impact for LSU Tigers defense when certain sacks were happening. But him now not being there, I want to see how the defense is now going to be able to, you know, do things. I want to see how it's going to look for the defense. Particularly how this defense is going to be, done. But yeah, it sucks. Harold Perkins again, like I said, this is his junior year. I don't know if he comes back for his senior year after this injury. I probably would. What's the point of going to the NFL with a torn ACL when your highlights this past season wasn't great? Um, and it's not just to keep the kid in LSU. It really is because I don't think this kid. I don't know if they didn't really use him effectively this year. So I don't know how much of a boost he will get going into the NFL if he does not come back and play at least some college ball one more time. But we shall see. We shall see. Um, my team that's going up, and that is the Miami Hurricanes. Miami, Miami, Miami. Oh, you sons of bitches. Just like I said with Colorado with the Big 12, y'all go ahead and give Miami the fucking ACC. It's over. Cam Ward has got to be the most I don't give a fuck quarterback I've ever seen in college football. This motherfucker is literally in the pocket, just so goddamn nonchalant, just like okay, touchdown. Okay, cool. Like he is just, yo, you see this clip of this dude against South Florida this past weekend. You just like that is so disrespectful, my nigga. Like, like you just be sitting there. I was just sitting there like that is disrespectful as shit, bro. You you could put some effort into that. You can speed that shit up. You can speed that shit up. What are you doing, man? The disrespect from this mother. Man, that shit was disrespect. I felt bad for them dudes. I ain't even gonna lie. I felt bad for 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 South Florida. The fact that he told them on some Cam Newton shit. Hey, we gonna run it right there. We're gonna run it right there. You ain't gonna be able to stop it. He runs the play and it goes right where he said it was gonna go, and it's a touchdown. And you just sitting there like, he told you what he's gonna do. Hey, I, he told you what he's gonna do. I can't get mad at him. He told you it was about to happen. Miami is a different caliber of a team. They're a really good team, man. Miami's a really 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 good team, and like I said, they got Virginia Tech this week. Um, Miami could be a really dangerous team this year. And like I said, the ACC. I know Clemson. People now back on Clemson's bandwagon, and Florida State is just on its own fucking accord. I don't know what the fuck Florida State is this year. They just suck. Um, People back on Clemson's bandwagon. I think Miami beats them. Miami has a better quarterback, have a better situation. I think Miami's the best team in the ACC. Team that's down bad this week is the Oklahoma Sooners. Oklahoma last week barely beat Tulane. So what happens when they play Tennessee? They got their ass whooped. What happened when they play Tennessee? They got their ass whooped at home on TV, live and in action, and live and in the living color. They got their ass whooped on TV to Tennessee. Oklahoma had no offensive line. I literally said this last week. In the SEC, you got no offensive line. That's a problem. Tennessee wrecked them. Now Oklahoma's defense played at least somewhat in that game. They had it early in the game, but then once Tennessee kind of established what they are, kind of got the running game going. You know, the quarterback for Tennessee got going. It just was over. They are now switching even. They're not even switching their quarterback. Like, yeah, Oklahoma. I never really had too much faith in Oklahoma. They're like Texas A&M. It's gonna take them a while. Texas A&M and Missouri. Like when Missouri moved to the SEC, it took Missouri a long time to combat what the SEC was. Oklahoma feels like that. Oklahoma feels like a team that's still moving off of the Big 12 and think they can just move off of Big 12 shit. They feel like they still have a Big 12 defense and a Big 12 offensive line, which is like, it doesn't matter if the pressure comes. We can just move the pocket or we can move the quarterback out of the situation. That's not the case in SEC. You have to actually have an offensive line that can keep up with the situation. And they have none of that. They're going to struggle for at least 2 years. At least 2 years, Oklahoma's going to struggle in the SEC. If you got money on Oklahoma to be good in the next 2, 3 years in the SEC, I mean, listen, anything can happen, but I wouldn't put my fucking money on them. Like, I just personally would not put my fucking money on Oklahoma to be good for the next 2, 3 years in the SEC because they got to figure out that offensive line. That offensive line is not fucking good. And anybody that sits there and says Oklahoma's gonna figure it out, okay, they still operate like a Big 12 team. They have that's the thing about Texas. Texas playing the last couple of um, Texas playing the last couple of years against teams like Alabama. They actually knew what they had to do to LSU a couple of years ago when they had Joe Burrow. Texas understood what they had to do to get to that level of SEC play. Oklahoma has no idea how to do that still. They feel like Missouri. They feel like a team like Missouri who's still gonna have to learn how to be a good team, how to manage the SEC, how to combat being in the SEC. And I feel like Missouri doesn't, you know, it took Missouri what a decade. Missouri been in the SEC for like a decade. It took them a decade to kind of get themselves to this point. And that's what going. And I don't think Oklahoma's going to take them a fucking decade, but it's going to take them at least 2 3 years to combat what the SEC is because they don't have anything. They don't have it. They don't have the offensive line. They damn sure have the defensive structure yet to stop an SEC physical team like Georgia, like Alabama. They're gonna beat Texas, which is funny as shit because they always beat Texas for some apparent fucking reason. But yeah, they're gonna combat the SEC is going to show Oklahoma what it is, and I think Tennessee was just the first game. They got a bunch of games against the SEC this year, but they're gonna struggle. They're gonna struggle. All right, my crazy six. Yeah, my crazy six. I do this, man. From 1 to 6, I talk about all my favorite teams so far of the college football season. Tell you why I have them ranked the way I have them ranked. I'm not doing 12. That's fucking ridiculous. This new playoff shit. I'm not doing 12. I'm not doing 12. That's fucking nuts. But I would definitely do 6. That's a little weird. I'm not doing that shit. Um, so let's get into it, man. Number one, starting off at number one this year. Starting off at number one this year. Starting off at number one is Texas. Texas is the number one team to me uh, in college football. Anybody that sits there and tries to tell you that Texas is not, you're delusional. Texas is the number one team in college football. Um, them going to Michigan, beating Michigan the way they beat Michigan was massive. They needed to beat Michigan. They needed to show people they could beat, a team like that. But that SEC play starts. They play Mississippi State this week in Texas. I think Texas is going to be good. Archie Manning is now the starting quarterback for them, at least until Quentin Ayers comes back. If he even comes back, gets the job. Even if he comes back, who the fuck says he's getting that job back? Should have just went to the fucking NFL like a lot of motherfuckers told you to. But um, Texas is 4-0. We shall see how this is. They still have a massive game coming up against Georgia in a couple weeks. Still got Oklahoma coming up. Um, but Texas is a good team. Texas is a really good team. We shall see how they also maneuver in the SEC now. They're officially, like I said, starting SEC play. We shall see how they look. Number two for me, also 4-0. It's Miami Hurricanes, man. They also start the ACC play this week against Virginia Tech at home. I think Miami is good, really good. Like I said, I think Miami is the best team in the ACC, which is not saying a lot because there's not really that many good teams in the ACC this year. Um, but Miami is going to definitely be one of the best teams in college football when it's all said and done. Like I said at the preview show that I did earlier this year, I think Miami could easily, I think Miami could easily end up in a national championship game this year. I would not be surprised if they did. The number three team is said Tennessee Volunteers. Tennessee going to Oklahoma, beating to Oklahoma's ass is one thing. But Tennessee has dominated the last couple of weeks. North Carolina State, they beat the hell out of them. Tennessee is the best team in college football right now. I know I don't have them at number one, but Tennessee is dangerous. They are a dangerous fucking team. They have everything they need to be one of the most dangerous teams in the SEC. And they feel like a team that could fly under the radar for at least a good bit. I think they still have to play Georgia this year. I don't think they play Texas. I don't know if they play Alabama. But the fact that they could just kind of skate past the schedule for a good bit before they actually have to play some of those teams. The reason why a couple years ago they didn't end up the way they ended up because Hayden Hooker got injured. Same thing with like Florida State last year. Once you lose your starting quarterback, your whole team kind of takes a fucking decline, and that's what happened to Tennessee. Once Hayden Hooker got hurt a couple years ago, that whole team took a decline, and it was nothing they could do about it. Number four is the Alabama Crimson Tide. Yep, Alabama's four. Getting their tackles back is one thing. They needed it. I don't think Alabama is. This game this week against Georgia is going to be one of the most interesting fucking games of the year because they can go two ways. They can literally blow Georgia out, or they can lose to Georgia close. It's one of those two. I truly believe either they they blow Georgia out, or they lose to Georgia close. I don't think you can beat Georgia close if you're Alabama. You have to physically blow them out, and they can do either or. So it will be interesting. Number five is Utah. Utah is 4-0. Went to Stillwater, Oklahoma State. Stillwater beat that ass. Again, like I said, no Cameron Rising. Um, the running back of Utah is really great. The defense of Utah is really good. This team is dangerous, man. They play Arizona this week. I'm looking forward to seeing how Utah is going to maneuver in the Big 12. Like I said, it really does, and I said this earlier in the preview show what I did with college football too. Colorado and Utah, those are the one and two teams I felt like in the Big 12 are the most intriguing teams because they felt like the teams that. Now, granted, Kansas State is also there. Kansas State can also shock a lot of teams and be great. But this feels like it's Utah, Colorado's conference to lose. And that's the thing. And number six, it is the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia is 3-0, and it don't feel like it. Georgia does not feel like 3-0. They feel like a team that's just waiting to get knocked the fuck out. A fighter that knows how good they are if everything goes right, but the moment they take a punch, they might not be able to get up. That's Georgia this year. Georgia was like that last year, but they covered it up. They found a way. This does not feel like that this year. You play Clemson the first game, okay. You beat Clemson. But for two straight times I've seen Georgia play this year. Most of their games, they do not score until the second fucking half. And this is why I say them playing against Alabama this week, you're going to have to fucking score. You cannot just wait for your team to turn it on in the second fucking half. Alabama can score. That's a problem. If Alabama gets past 20 points in the first half, Georgia's Georgia's fucked. Georgia's fucked. They cannot have a game where they're struggling. I don't think Georgia's going to be good. I've said this numerous times. Georgia has this. You believe too much into the defense of Georgia, but this game is going to be interesting. The fact that you play Kentucky and Kentucky had a chance to win. Now, granted, both of you and Alabama have had time to sit and have a bye week and all that other shit. Great, happy for you. But this game, Saturday, we gonna see. We gonna see. I don't know. Georgia might have figured some shit out offensively. Maybe they have. But being on the road in Alabama is a different animal, and I don't know how Georgia's gonna survive. And by the way, they did lose to Alabama in the SEC championship game, so we shall see. Eyes on college football for week 5. Here we go. Like y'all do all the time. My skeptical game of the week, my most interesting game of the week, my upset game of the week, and of course the game of the week. So let's get into it. My skeptical game of the week is Arkansas versus Texas A&M. Texas A&M is ranked again after dropping a game earlier this year. Um, Listen, Texas A&M. I forgot who they lost to earlier this year. I forgot who they lost to. It ain't lost. Like it was like what the fuck? Oh, Notre Dame. Lost to Notre Dame. The first game of the season. They lost to Notre Dame. My thing with this is this. Arkansas is a really good fucking team. Arkansas winning last week, beating Auburn, beating Auburn 24-14 in Auburn. Um, yeah, I truly believe that as good as Texas A&M has been since that Notre Dame game, it's still Texas A&M. They still shaky as shit. And in games like this, where teams are not going to be afraid of what you can do offensively, and they can also combat you defensively, you've been playing some bullshit teams the last couple of weeks. Now you're about to play the SEC. Arkansas is a really good team. Arkansas could have and should have probably beaten Oklahoma State a couple of weeks ago. I called the upset, and they barely escaped that fucking game. But Oklahoma State barely escaped that game. But Arkansas is a dangerous fucking team. People that sit there and think Arkansas is not a good team. Arkansas is a dangerous fucking team. Arkansas has always been a dangerous fucking team. And going into Texas A&M, where Texas A&M suffered that loss to Notre Dame, anything can happen. Anything can fucking happen. My most interesting game of the week is Illinois versus Penn State. Penn State, since their almost loss earlier this year, have been better. Offensively, they scored a lot of points. I mean, they scored 56 points against Kent State, so congratulations, I guess. Illinois coming off of beating Nebraska, giving Nebraska their first loss of the season, um, with Patrick Mahomes' clone, the Patrick Mahomes clone, beat them. Illinois is a very interesting team. A couple years ago, people remember, a couple years ago, that 7 overtime game between Illinois and Penn State. I don't know if it's going to be like that this game, but Illinois is not a team to play to be overlooked. Penn State, this is again, you're playing against the Big Ten. Usually, games like this, they struggle their hardest at. Games like this, I feel like Illinois can kind of get Penn State. Illinois is a really good team. They're very coached. They coach very well always. This feels like a team in Illinois that can go to Penn State and rock Penn State early. And if they do, I would not be surprised. Just like the upset game of the week, and that is Ohio State going to Michigan State. Ohio State's also now. Ohio State clearly did not make my crazy six. Ohio State's undefeated, but Ohio State's played nobody. They played nobody. I know people that they're sitting up there saying, "Brandon, you should play Ohio State." They played nobody, bro. Like they've played absolutely no one. And I feel like a game like this against a Michigan State who's 3-1, which a lot of people don't know, they lost last week, their first loss last week. Michigan State's a weird fucking team. They've always been a weird team. They're 3-1. They're finally kind of now starting to get that old Michigan State Spartans type of feel. And Ohio State is the perfect team to do it against. And then on top of this, it's not on TV. It's on Peacock app. So if you want to watch the game, it's going to be on the Peacock app. So which means eyes are not going to be on this game, which means Ohio State might not perform up to par. And that might be a problem. That might be a serious problem. Michigan State can definitely pull off the upset. Again, it's the Big Ten. Anything can happen. Just like the Illinois Penn State game. It's the Big Ten. Anything can fucking happen. So I would not be surprised if Michigan State actually catches Ohio State slipping. They struggled a little bit in the first half in that game against Ohio State. Struggled a little bit last week in the first half. Then of course they pulled away. But this is different. Michigan State has a defense. Michigan State has an offense that can keep the ball moving. And if Ohio State kind of falls victim to not really scoring, a couple for 3 and outs, Michigan State can get them. And of course, my game of the week is obviously Georgia versus Alabama. Georgia's 2, Alabama's 4. That should be reversed. I don't know what the fuck people are watching. That should clearly be fucking reversed. And it will be after this game. I don't know who Georgia is. Georgia's offensive identity for most of the year last year was bad. They barely had an offense for most of the year last year. They actually got better when Brock Bowers went down offensively. But this team this year kind of feels like last year. They're waiting for something. And it's just like, I don't know if you're going to get it anytime soon. This game against Alabama, now, Alabama is a very interesting team. This is the game for either Carson Beck or Jalen Monroe to put themselves back in my face, in my eyes, as a actual, uh, actual Heisman candidate. Neither one of them feels like a Heisman candidate to me. I've seen Cameron Ward. I've seen Travis Hunter. I've seen what they can do. Neither one of these two feel like that now. They don't feel like it. And that's the thing. I can't wait to see this game because I truly believe in my heart of hearts. It's either going to be a blowout or it's going to be so defensively savvy that it's going to come down to a field goal. All right. Big four of the NFL. Now, NFL's got a lot of injuries. A lot of fucking injuries. A lot of shit going on. But the big four of the NFL. Let's get into it, man. Number one, the beating the Houston Texans is the the Minnesota Vikings at 3-0. Do I think Minnesota is the best team in football? Yeah, right now. Yeah. Do I still believe in Minnesota? No. Fuck no. Do I think Minnesota can win the division? Yeah, I don't know about that. I said that Detroit. I said that Green Bay. But what Minnesota is right now is exactly what I thought Minnesota would be, which is Brian Flores' defense. Now, I've always said Brian Flores' defenses are always better at the end of the year more than the beginning of the year. But they have taken it to another level this year. They're fucking good. This defense is fucking amazing in Minnesota. And Sam Darnold might. Okay, I'm not about to do all that. But I will say this: coaching helps. Coaching has definitely discovered a lot of great talent after a while. Sam Darnold's having like a Case Keenum year. I remember Case Keenum. He's having like a Case Keenum year. Um, where you're just like, how the fuck is this happening? Sam Darnold's having that type of feeling. I do believe though, once teams kind of circle in on what particularly the Vikings offense is and what they can do, once they finally figure that shit out, they're gonna shut the Vikings down. Now, Kevin O'Connell's a really good head coach. He's gonna figure some shit out. But this week, them versus Green Bay, if Jordan Love plays or not, that defense of Green Bay is, like I've been saying, is really fucking good. Going into Green Bay is going to be interesting. If Jordan Love plays or not, I think Green Bay can still get them, but the Vikings are 3-0. And not only have, and by the way, like I said, last week, they played San Francisco. I know a lot of people put a lot of faith in San Francisco. I am not one of those people. I thought San Francisco would suck this year, so I'm not surprised San Francisco is losing right now. Not even in the slightest. But them beating Houston last week, now that's a fucking eye opener. That's a fucking eye opener. Now, of course, granted, it was in fucking Minnesota, and that's another thing. Minnesota has not. Minnesota had one game on the road, and that was against the fucking Giants. Let's see them on the road. Let me get a game on the road, and this is the first test that they get. Is the Green Bay fucking Packers on the road? Divisional game. Green Bay and Minnesota always have these tight fucking games. We shall see. Now, if they can do this to Green Bay on the road, I will back off and say, you know what? New information gives me maybe Minnesota is actually as good as their record is showing. But they're number one. I gave them number one, but we shall see. Fuck, jury's still fucking out. It's only week fucking 4. Chill on it. Number 2, they also 3-0. That's the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, I like being right. I like being right sometimes. For years, I've had to hear people say, Justin Fields is the problem in Chicago. Justin Fields is the problem in Chicago. Justin Fields is the problem in Chicago. Okay. Now Justin Fields is out of Chicago and he's now 3-0. And Chicago's 1-2. I said this also earlier this year when I did an NFL preview. I said Pittsburgh's going to be good. I said that offensive line is going to take a while for them to gel because you got 3 rookies and a second-year player starting on that offensive line. It's going to take them a while. It feels like they figured it out already. A rookie center, rookie guard, rookie left tackle, a right tackle coming into his second year. It feels like they're starting to figure it out. And with an Arthur Smith led offense, that offensive line is starting to gel. With Najee Harris and Jalen Warren, I still feel like they need to go get another fucking receiver. You can't just continuously rely on George Pickens. You got to go get another receiver. Maybe Devontae Adams. Maybe. Maybe DeAndre Hopkins from Tennessee. Shit, maybe Kevin Ridley from Tennessee. Maybe one of the receivers from the Jags. You know, maybe Christian Kirk or, I don't know they're going to trade Gabriel Davis, but Christian Kirk. There's some teams that starting to fall a little bit, starting to waver a little bit. They got receivers that are looking around and being like, I ain't got too much left on my fucking contract, Mike. I ain't got too much time for this bullshit. I need to win now. And you're starting to have this. So some teams, you starting to hear some shit. You're like, oh, here we go. So we shall see. But Steelers are 3-0. They go against the Colts this upcoming week. I think the Steelers are gonna be good, man. Still, TJ Watt is that dude. Like we can stop this shit. I will even further go and say maybe he might even be better than his brother. He might be better than his brother. Pittsburgh's defense has never been a problem. Pittsburgh has always been good. It's like I feel with the Saints. It's like the defense has never been a problem. The offense is the offense has always been a question mark. Same thing with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's offense has always been a question mark. Now I get, you know, Mike Tomlin saying I'm not committing to uh Justin Fields as the starter yet. Cool, whatever. Do you think? But Russell Wilson is not gonna get the job anytime soon. For people that still sitting there and thinking, oh, Justin Fields is gonna lose the job to Russell Wilson. Yeah, I've seen this story play out enough in my life when it comes to quarterback situations where it's like, oh well, when the person gets healthy and they get healed, if Pittsburgh continues to win and the way they're winning, and Justin Fields continues to play like he's playing, he's getting better every week. He's the fucking starting quarterback. We can move the fuck on. Now, Number three, I had to change the page because again I had to write so much shit now. Number three, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. Talk about a year change. Good God Almighty, Seattle's good. They're 3-0. Beat Miami. Beat. Okay, it's Miami. They literally have no quarterback. Miami's back to being Miami. They're 3-0. This again goes into what I've been thinking about Miami for a while. This again goes into what I think about Miami, which is Mike McDaniel actually a is Mike McDaniels actually a really good coach? Is he really a good coach, or is he just depending on the situation he's in? Because for 2 straight weeks, I've seen you lose to Buffalo, get blown out at home against Buffalo, and go to Seattle and get absolutely destroyed. But I digress. Seattle's a really good team. I cannot wait till Kenneth Walker gets healthy. Kenneth Walker, the running back, because with this offense that they have in Seattle, before he got injured, he was running a fucking football crazy. It feels like they figured out whatever they need to figure out. I don't know who the offense coordinator is in Seattle. Maybe Seattle fans, Seattle Seahawks fans can tell me. I don't know who your offense coordinator is in Seattle, but whoever he is, that motherfucker need a raise. Geno Smith is playing amazing right now. Tyler Lockett, who has found the fucking fountain of youth. I don't know what the fuck this is. It must be in Seattle because this motherfucker. It must be in Seattle because this motherfucker. For years, Doug Baldwin was the shit, and now Tyler Lockett is still the shit. For years, I don't know what it is. DK Metcalf is finally getting back to being DK Metcalf. JSN, who you drafted last year, was phenomenal in college. He's finally figuring himself out in the NFL. Yeah, man. And that defense of Seattle is fucking phenomenal. Yeah, yeah. Seattle's good. Seattle's good. Seattle's 3-0. They go to Detroit this weekend. All the teams, by the way, that I picked for this all go on the road this week. So I clearly have something. I must have a vendetta against these teams. I don't know what it is, but they go against Detroit. Detroit trying to get back to a good base for the last couple of weeks. Detroit's offense still just hasn't clicked yet. I don't know what it is. Even week one, they really weren't really that great. They just outplayed the Rams. But week two, they really didn't do nothing in last week against Arizona, which Arizona got a really good fucking defense, so it's not that surprising. But on the road, Monday Night Football in Detroit of all places, that's gonna be an interesting game. It's gonna be a very interesting game. I can't wait to see that game Monday night. That's gonna be a. I'm gonna definitely have to check that one out. That's gonna be probably one of my favorite games of the week. Um, and then number four is the Buffalo Bills. They're 3-0. They're also gonna be on the road against Baltimore this week. Absolutely dominating the Jacksonville Jaguars. Listen, Buffalo's 3-0. Congratulations. I still don't believe it, y'all. I, I know people are mad at a bitch that I just said that. I still don't believe you. I'm looking at the games y'all played. You barely beat Arizona. Congratulations. You barely beat Arizona. You literally needed Kyler Murray to not look up to Marvin Harrison Jr. because Marvin Harrison Jr. was wide the fuck open. You played last night against literally. You played last night against literally the Jaguars, who had, and you had no defensive call. Both of your defensive cornerbacks were both out. But the Jaguars suck. Trevor Lawrence is fucking terrible. He can't fucking play. Like I'm so sick of people trying to give this motherfucker a pass. I heard last night where they were still saying, "Oh, he's still young. He's motherfucker been in the league 4 fucking years. He ain't young. Motherfucker talented. Talent. It just ain't there. He ain't never been that guy." Buffalo played against Miami and beat Miami. Congratulations. But you always beat fucking Miami. You're gonna be on the road for the next 3 fucking weeks. Baltimore, who just won, the Houston Texans, who just got destroyed, and Stephon Diggs is definitely coming for your ass, especially in that game. And then the Jets, who I don't have faith in either. but at least they look more competitive and more like they know what the fuck they are than you do. I'm sorry. I have no faith in the Bills. They are 3-0, but I will say this. The reason why they are fourth and not another 3-0 team that I'm about to talk about, because despite how I feel about that team, I still feel like the Bills have somewhat of an identity. I cannot say the same for another 3-0 team that I'm about to talk about. But yeah, the Bills are 3-0. But talk to me in 3 weeks when you run through this gauntlet of the Ravens, Texans, and Jets. Then we can have a conversation. Other than that, yeah, you're 3-0, but and and fuck. My levels of warning. You already know. It's three teams that I pick. My yellow is caution, orange is panic time, and red is DOA. Let's get into it. Like I just said, there's another 3-0 team in the league that I did not have on my list. And they probably won't be on my list until I see actually a good game from them. And that to me is the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City's 3-0, but they are in my caution. Something's up with Kansas City. Something's up with Kansas City. Now maybe they're getting too famous. A lot of teams do. A lot of teams fall into this trap where you become bigger than the team. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelsey, they're starting to become bigger than the team. And no matter how people want to slice it and dice it, that shit does play an effect on the actual team. After the game, the first game, Thursday night football, after the first fucking game, yeah, I get it. You got a couple of days off. I get it. But what the fuck do y'all do? Instead of y'all staying in Kansas City, y'all jet set y'all ass to New York. Both of you. You leave the team and you go to New York City for fashion week and shit. And yet, we're supposed to, like, it's just like, y'all are letting fame get to y'all heads. Try Patrick Mahomes with his wife and her political views starting to become a problem for them. You got to know that's a talking point in their house, especially when your main weapon's girlfriend endorses the other side. That's a problem. I don't give a fuck how you want to slice the dice, especially nowadays in the world we live in. That's a problem. It shouldn't be, but it's a problem. And that's the thing. You got your tight end fucking acting, going to do movie roles and shit. And people are asking the question of, well, why is he not having a good start to his season? Because he's fucking everywhere else but where the fuck he needs to be. He wasn't good last fucking year. People don't understand this. Travis Kelsey wasn't good last motherfucking year. Did you watch last year? He barely had good games last fucking season. The man had his worst fucking season, regular season, since what, his rookie fucking year? And now, and he covered it up in the playoffs, but he barely played good last fucking year. And now again, same shit. He's not having a great start to the season. Now people are asking, well, he's gonna get on track. I don't know if he is. I don't know if them two are on the same page. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are on the same. Now Patrick Mahomes can sit there and say, "Well, I'm trying to get other people going," but that's not even the case. Like outside of Rasheed Rice, you really haven't tried to really use the rookie Xavier Worthy. Outside of the first game, y'all haven't used him. You've used Noah Gray more than you use Travis Kelsey in certain plays that Travis Kelsey usually would get the ball in. Travis Kelsey has been distracted for like a year now. For like a year now. You can go back to last year when him and Taylor Swift started dating. His mind has not been on football. I don't know what the fuck it is. Maybe it's his podcast with his brother, or whatever the case may be, or his newfound fame, whatever the case may be. That dude has not been focused on football. Now, I'm not like everybody on in fandom. I do believe sometimes shit get a little weird in Kansas City games. There's flags being thrown that shouldn't be thrown in certain moments. I've never seen in NFL games where motherfuckers blow the whistle on certain plays where you usually would probably not even blow the whistle. You would probably not even call a flag. But you do it in Kansas City games. It does look a little weird in the light. Now this upcoming week, Joe Alt is hurt. Doran James is suspended just for this game against Kansas City. Where the fuck did he get the suspension? I didn't hear none of this shit. Now he's suspended for the game against Kansas City? Huh? What? Justin Herbert's banged up. They're gonna win this game and they're gonna roll for the next couple weeks until they meet a team that punches them right in the mouth. And you're just gonna be sitting there like, what the fuck happened? Kansas City's not good. They're gonna roll through most of the season. I'm gonna tell you this now. They're probably gonna win the division. Chargers are banged up. Denver's not good. The Raiders are up and down. They're gonna win the division. They're gonna end up in the playoffs, and then they're gonna play Cincinnati, who's struggling like a motherfucker. But they're gonna play Baltimore. Or they're gonna play Houston. They're gonna play a team that can run on them, control clock, and then give them the ball, and they gotta figure some shit out. That offensive line is not good of Kansas City. It's not. They've been trying to fix it for like 2-3 years, and it's not fixed. They cannot fix that offensive line. Now you got Isaiah Pacheco out for a while. You put too much faith in a rookie who fumbles the ball. He's put the ball on the ground a little bit too much for their liking. I'm pretty much sure about that. And your two best weapons on offense, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, they might not be on the same page. What do you do? They're going to win the division. I don't question that. They might even get the number one seed. I don't question that. But this team is worse than they were last year. In at 3-0. People see the record. People see the record and think that team is great. But they're 3-0. And I cannot tell you one time I feel Kansas City was the best team in the games they played in this year. The Baltimore game, you got lucky. Cincinnati game, you got outplayed. The Atlanta game, you got fucking lucky again. There's not one time that I felt like you were the better team in any of these games. You should be 0-3, not 3-0. And that's just reality. But you are. But it does not stop me from putting your ass as a caution. Orange, panic time. That's the 1-2 Dallas Cowboys. Oh, come down. Come talk to you. Dallas. Come on. Dallas is 1-2. Dallas has more problems than people know and that people want to talk about. This goes back to the offseason where you had Michael Parsons, who hasn't gotten paid yet, CeeDee Lamb, who did get paid, both of their family members talking outwardly about how much they despise Dak Prescott, who is the quarterback and who just got paid. Dak Prescott's brother also is like, if I could, I would get my brother out of Dallas. Dallas has more problems than we see. You pay Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, who don't even like each other. See, unlike Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, who had actually a really good relationship, it just might be on shaky grounds right now. CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott probably never really were cool. So now that you have this situation and they're losing, you're starting to see the problems surface up to the come up to the top. And that's the thing. I don't think Dallas can fix what they already have broken. It's not going to get fixed anytime soon. This is a bad team. And people don't want to admit that shit. It's bad. They have nothing. They have no chemistry. Defensively, they have no chemistry. Teams know they are ball hogs. They want to sack you. That's all they can do. So if I can run on you, control clock, and then put your offense out there, and now they have to fucking force themselves to score, who's gonna win that game? Now, granted, Baltimore almost gave them a goddamn favor this Sunday. And here's the thing. People in sports media are funny as fuck. If Dallas go out there and blow out the Giants this Thursday, guess what people are gonna say? Oh, see, I knew they could do it. No. One game does not change what the fuck I've seen for 2 straight weeks. You just played a Giants team. That is not good. You can't give me this bullshit about the Saints playing Carolina and blowing out Carolina in week 1 and not knowing what they could be. But you turn around and tell me Dallas is good because they beat the Giants. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Dallas is bad. I told people for a long time, Dallas is not good. Dallas is not going to be good this year. Anybody that thinks Dallas is going to be good this year, you are delusional. I don't know why. They don't fix shit. You had a chance to get. This is nothing. Jerry Jones says, we couldn't afford Derrick Henry. Bitch, you are the fucking owner. You are worth billions of dollars. Your team is worth billions of dollars. And you sit there with a straight face and say, we couldn't afford Derrick Henry. What? I wanted to reach through the TV and slap the shit out this man. I was like, motherfucker, who are you talking to? You are bitch, you are worth billions of dollars. What are you talking about? You are worth billion. Your team is worth billions of dollars, and you just literally, with an with a straight face, said, "Oh, yeah, we could afford Derrick Henry." Cowboy fans, it's okay to discredit yourselves as Cowboys fans. It's okay. You can say fuck this shit because there is no way in hell in life where you hear a billionaire whose franchise is worth what 10 billion fucking dollars. There's no way in hell somebody can literally outwardly say, "Oh yeah, we could afford Derrick Henry." Huh? What'd you say? I'm sorry. What'd you say? I'm sorry. Did this motherfucker just say he couldn't afford Derrick? I would not be mad at you if you choose to be fans of somebody else. I would not be mad at you. Listen, I'm not really a spokesman for the Saints, but I would understand if you want to be Saints fans because that's the most egregious shit I've heard in a minute. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like we can afford Derrick Henry. Bitch, ain't you worth billions of dollars? The fuck are you talking? You are the owner. You are the GM. You are this nigga is the owner, GM, president of all of this. And this nigga literally said on camera after the game that the Derrick Henry ran for 200 some yards on your ass. This man literally went on camera and said, "Oh yeah, we couldn't afford him." What? Y'all need to Vince McMahon his ass. Y'all need to Vince McMahon his ass, boy. Find something on him. Find something. Force his ass to step down. Because y'all got to find something on this man. This is ridiculous. That is the most ridiculous fucking statement I've heard in years. We couldn't afford him. What? You're a billionaire. Your team is worth 10 billion fucking dollars. You sit there with a straight face and tell me you couldn't afford Derrick Henry? Dallas fans, quit your team. I would understand. We will all understand as football fans. Quit your team. Just quit him. Quit him. It's okay. It's okay. We will understand. We will understand. In red, DOA is the Bears. 1 and 2. Listen, despite what I've always said on this podcast, I do not dislike Caleb Williams. I dislike this dumbass narrative that he's a generational talent. I despise this dumbass narrative that the fanboys in the fucking media, because that's exactly what the fuck y'all are now. Y'all are not actually fucking analysts. Y'all do not speak the truth. What you are is a fucking fanboy. You have this fucking overwhelming thing. Now y'all have to sit back and take back y'all words on Trevor Lawrence. When you could have actually just spoke the actual truth, which is was Trevor Lawrence would be good if you put him in the right situation. And I get tired of hearing people say, well, Brandon, every quarterback is going to be good if you put him in the right situation. No. The ways y'all be talking about these quarterbacks is it don't matter if these motherfuckers got an offensive line, running back, wide receiver, if the head coach is completely and utterly stupid, fucking incompetent, don't know what the fuck he doing, can't call time, nothing. Y'all act like some of these motherfucking quarterbacks could just walk in that bitch and just turn the team around. That's Trevor Lawrence. That's Caleb Williams. That's where the fuck we got a problem. Caleb Williams, hearing Colin Cowherd today on TV say everybody loves Justin Fields. I've never heard anybody speak distasteful of Justin Fields. I have. You have spoke distasteful of Justin Fields. You've never met this kid. Probably never met this kid your day of your life. But you just talk crazy about this man. The same man who, by the way, was the number one high school recruit coming out that class, the high school class, with Trevor Lawrence. When John Gruden used to have his show on TV, and he used to go and do this shit, he told people Justin Fields is the best quarterback in his class. Justin Fields out quarterback Trevor Lawrence a couple years ago. I don't know where you can find it, but you can go pull it up on YouTube. Justin Fields versus Trevor Lawrence. I think it was a quarterback class, the class of quarterbacks and shit like that on ESPN. They used to have it for high school teams and shit. Justin Fields is the best quarterback. Which brings me to Chicago. Chicago is not. Chicago's not gonna do this kid any favors. Chicago's not gonna do this kid any favors. Me and my brother Juan talked about this today, where we was laughing, and we was like, "Oh, because of how good Malik Neighbors is, he's gonna probably keep Daniel Jones' job." It kind of feels the same way with Chicago Bears defense. Chicago Bears defense is really fucking good. That defense is good, extremely fucking good. But Caleb Williams, cockiness and arrogance, his arrogance, all that shit, it's starting to bite him in his ass. And it couldn't happen to a nicer person. It really couldn't. I've never met this dude a day in my life. But he comes off as some cocky ass dude. Like he is just better than everyone. And that is what we don't like as fans. It feels like you think you already are the shit. And it's cool to feel that way until we see you play. And you get your ass whooped. Like you been getting your ass whooped. And we immediately be like, that's what you get, motherfucker. Every time I heard this dude talk, he talked with some sense of like confidence. It's not confidence. He talked like he was cocky. When you tweet at the punter that they draft in the draft and you say, you ain't gonna be needed, that's not confidence. That's fucking cockiness, dude. And at the end of the day, I don't care what anybody say. Chicago's going to be bad this season. Can they turn it around? Maybe. Can they get good? Possibly. Will they? No. You don't fix the offensive line. You never fix the offensive line. I had to hear for preseason how this offensive line was good. Now Colin Cowherd's like, man, I can't believe they regressed. Bitch, they were never good to begin with. You told me Bryson Jones, who I knew last year, watching him last year get manhandled by Myles Garrett. Now I go, it's fucking Myles Garrett. Who the fuck gonna stop Myles Garrett? But watching him get fucking manhandled by Myles Garrett, I'm like, this is the starting left tackle? Are you serious? That's the thing about it. I don't give a fuck what you say about Chicago. Chicago is not going to be good this year. Y'all gave this man all the weapons and did the one thing y'all did the one thing you was actually supposed to fucking fix for him. Offensive line play. y'all, y'all gave this nigga all the weapons in the world and couldn't fix and didn't do the most simplest fucking thing. Offensive line play. This man has no offensive line. And yet y'all sit there with a straight face and now coming up with every excuse under the book, just like y'all have done for Trevor fucking Lawrence. Stop throwing the word generational around when you just want to just be honest. When you can literally just be honest with everybody and say they're good. If everything goes right, they should be good. But right now, they're not there. And that's the thing. Keller Williams can be good, but he does a lot of shit that if Patrick Mahomes did this when he was a rookie, he would be getting killed for it. Same thing with Keller Williams. He's doing the same shit that Patrick Mahomes is doing. The only difference is he's not Patrick fucking Mahomes. It's Keller Williams. Chicago Bears are gonna be in the problem. They got a problem on their hands because you can't fix an offensive line that you never fixed in the first place. That's a massive problem. And they got to figure it out before this kid get killed. That's the end of I Believe Sports. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Talk to you guys soon. Till next time. Peace.